Okay, so this is part 2. The other one was getting kind of long. So anyway, while I was looking at some things before I started the second part, I seen that the time was 1:44 and my phone was at 44%. And I just mentioned about how I heard the name of the Lord is 444. But I just typed that into Strong's, you guys. There's a lot of people that don't understand. But here's some scriptures. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. This is what 444 means in the concordance. Man-faced, that is human being, a certain man. Okay, then we have John 1:6. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. Okay, that was John 1:9. That was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. That's Jesus. And he saith unto him, this is Jesus, verily, verily, I say unto you, hereafter ye shall see heaven open, and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. Jesus is the Son. Okay, and he that needeth not should testify of man, for he knew what was in man. That's God. Talks about iniquity. Okay, John 3:13. And no man hath ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man. And that says 444, which is in heaven. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. That's Jesus. Okay. John 3:19. The light is come into the world, and that men love darkness rather than the light, because their deeds were evil. That's Jesus. He's the light of the world. Okay. So when I heard the name of the Lord is 444, he was referring to Jesus. John 5:27, and hath given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. That's Jesus. Okay, John 5:34, but receive not testimony from man, but these things I say that ye might be saved. Only from Jesus, right? Jesus said, I receive not the honor from men. So all these scriptures are pertaining and laying witness to the Lord. In the Strong's Concordance, 444. Okay. Jesus said to them, verily, verily, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, ye have no life in you. John 6:62. What and if ye shall see the Son of Man ascend up where he was before? Okay. And it talks about the circumcision. So yeah. John 8:28. When ye have lifted up the Son of Man, then shall ye know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father hath taught me, I speak these things. Okay, so the name of the Lord is 444. Not literally the number 444, but that number 4 times 3, an emphasis on it, right, is talking about Jesus Christ. So when I see this number, I get excited, you guys. And the number 888, that's like talking about the throne room, heaven. It's talking about God. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's continue on with the dream. So then when it came, it was nothing. It was just nothing. It wasn't nearly as hard as the earthquake we had 2 years ago. That was the 35 earthquake. The ground shook just an instant. People looked at each other surprised. Then they laughed. I laughed too. So this was what I had been waiting for? This funny little shake, it meant nothing. I was relieved and I was disappointed. What had I been waiting for? I started back up the boulevard, moving my legs like those kids. How do they do it? I asked myself that too. How do they do it? I never found out. I felt as if the ground wasn't solid under me. I knew I was dreaming, and yet I wasn't dreaming. There was that smell again coming from the ocean. I was getting to the 5 and 10 Newberries. I wasn't sure if it was Newberries, but it was the 5 and 10. and I saw the look on the kids' faces. 2 of them were right in front of me coming my way, both with beards, one with earrings. One said, "Let's get out of this place. Let's go back east." He seemed scared. It was as if sidewalks were trembling, but you couldn't seem to see them. Not with your eyes, you couldn't. An old lady had a dog, a little white dog, and she stopped and looked scared and grabbed him in her arms and said, "Let's go home, Frou-Frou. Mama is going to take you home." That poor old lady hanging on to her dog, I got scared, real scared. I remembered the girl. She was way down the block, probably. See, he didn't know because she disappeared. The one with the twins. I started to run. I ran, and the ground kept trembling, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't feel it, but I knew it was trembling. Everybody looked scared. They looked terrible. One young lady just sit down on the sidewalk, all doubled up. She kept saying, "Earthquake. It's the earthquake," over and over, but I couldn't see that anything was different. Now, you guys, these kids with the beards and the earrings, they're like, "Let's get out of here. Let's go back east." Now this girl's on, the old lady's grabbing her dog, trying to get home. But nothing's really happening at this point. It was just a little shake. But you know, if he's sensing something's about to happen, they're sensing something's about to happen. And the girl's on the ground, and she knows it's coming. She kept saying, "Earthquake. It's the earthquake." Capital. Okay, so now we know this dream is bearing witness to what is being preached right now. And we know that these new age teenagers, girls, old and young, are getting the word through us, other fellow dreamers, other people that are prophetic, scientists right now saying the big one's about to happen, confirming this. And people, there's so many people that live down in Hollywood, San Francisco, San Bernardino, all on the coast, and Northern California too, as well as Washington and Oregon. They know right now that it's about to pop off at any moment. So when it does, and this dream start popping off, people start getting scared and they start believing, you guys. And this, when the Lord called me and he woke me up about almost a year ago, I was called to give out warnings. We're all called to give out warnings. We are watchmen. We are watching for the things that are about to happen, and we are warning people. And prophecies, dreams and visions are usually prophetic to warn people, and that's how it was back in the Bible days too. All the prophets that walked around, they prophesied, and they said, "Look, destruction is coming upon your land. Repent, change your ways. Destruction is coming. God's had enough." And this is what is about to happen in this day and age. People are not giving their lives to Jesus. Nowadays they don't even believe in God. They believe that they are their own God. It's this new age religion, this Oprah, type of religion where you are your own God and you can create your own destiny. And we're going to roll out the yoga mat and we're going to do 10,000 poses to Master Yogi and 10,000 gods and goddesses, but they have no clue what they're doing. And, we're going to go and light an incense, or we're going to have a seance, or we're going to do angel cards, or we're going to, it's just idolatry and wickedness is everywhere. And people don't want to know the truth. And we've seen a slow, actually a pretty fast decline over everything that's happened in America, probably in the last 35, 40 years. I know in the Clinton administration, a lot of crazy things happened. They started taking prayer and Bibles and everything else out of the schools. It's just been getting crazy, you guys. And even when you walk into a church, they're just dead. It's just dead.
No.
Sorry, guys. My daughter was coming out the door with the chickens, and the dogs were trying to get out, and so she yelled at them to get back in the house. They're all trying to herd out the door, all three of them at the same time, to get the baby chickens. But anyway, yeah, there's been a rapid decline in our society, and now we are led up to all these events that are judgments that are getting ready to happen on America. And this earthquake, I've seen a lot of dreams where it's like it flips the earth off the axis, and it's wobbling around like a drunk person. So then it was, then when it came, how it came, like nothing in God's world, like nothing. It was the scream of a siren, long and low, or the scream of a woman I heard having a baby when I was a kid. It was awful. It was as if some monster was pushing up the sidewalks. You felt it long before you saw it, as if the sidewalks wouldn't hold anymore. I looked out at the cars. They were honking, but not scared. They just kept moving. They didn't seem to know yet that anything was happening. Then that white car, that baby half-sized one, came sprawling from the inside lane right against the curb. The girl who was driving just sat there. She sat there with her eyes staring as if she couldn't move. But I could hear her. She whimpered like a little girl. She made funny noises. I watched her, thinking of the other girl. I said that it was a dream and I would wake up. But I didn't wake up. The shaking had started again, but this time different.